When I click on publish, it's going to load. It's taking time. It's going to load. Okay. So now it has loaded, right? So you have to select the workspace you want to use. So the workspace I'm using actually is Onyx Data Workspace. I've actually created it already. I click on select. Right? When I click on select, Microsoft would ask you don't replace so many information. Just put replace, right? So it's going to be publishing it inside Power BI services and everything. So when is this done, it tell you successful, right? So that's telling me that now if I click on this button over here, you can see it's going to take me to Power BI services now, right? Now you can see my reports, right? Another thing you need to know is that when you're publishing to Power BI services, it's usually published two things. It publishes reports. So the report is being published. The report is being published, and it also the database, that's the data sets, also being published. You're not just publishing the visualization you send Power BI desktop. You're publishing two things to the web. You're publishing both reports, and you're also publishing both the data sets. So let's now go for the training now. The main thing we came now, the meat of the whole. So I click on my dashboard, right? So this is the dashboard here, right? So I'll go to this my file drop down. So this is how the whole interface looks like. You can see you have export, you have share, you have chat with Microsoft Teams, you have get insight. So get insight works with the NLP. So it's more like natural programming language. You can subscribe to a report. So subscribing basically means I'm getting daily updates. This one, people in bigger organization and marketing use it a lot to subscribe. So if let's say for instance, I'm doing like I need daily reports as a manager, right? So I don't want to stress myself. What I need to do as a data analysis, if I'm working with a manager, my manager is always asking me for daily reports. And me as a data analyst, I don't want to stress myself because the beauty of Power BI and the whole Power Platform is just for automation, right? I'll just go to subscribe and I'll do a subscribe that to be sending my manager daily update of the sales without even me stressing myself. Data house does do that, just be populating the database and everything keeps updating itself. So I'll go to file. From file, you can see there's a place the word to because I can save as a copy. I can download the file. That means I can download the PBIX file. That's the Power BI file. I can manage permissions such as view only, editing, and comments, the way you do on Google Drives and the rest. I can print the report as a page. I can also embed. I can also generate a QRL code, right? So I'll click on embed report. You can see because our first task is for SharePoint, right? So I'll click on SharePoint online. You can see I have this link here, right? I'll copy the link. I'll now go to my office.com. I'll look for my SharePoint. So my SharePoint, I can see SharePoint over here. So for you to do this, the first thing you need to create a site, right? So SharePoint mainly is for collaboration purpose. You use SharePoint for collaboration, right? So most times, most organizations use SharePoint for collaboration purpose. So the first thing you need to create a site page. Site page. So to create a site page, you just come and click on create sites here. This button here, and that's all. And you just follow the whole process. But because of time, I don't want to waste. Like I have a lot of things to cover for you guys. So I'll just click. I've already created some dummy sites which I've done in the past before. Let me check these accounts. Okay, developer accounts. You just click here, right? So I need to create a page. When you have created a site, the next thing is to create a page. You can see a page button over here. And I click on the page button. Um, I can click on this new button here. I can create new site page. Anyone you prefer using. It might take time, and that's all right. So now you can see this plus icon over here, right? Add, so I can add, click the button. You can see Power BI. I'll enter Power BI to take a little bit of time because of network now. So I'll click on add reports. And this side over here, I'll paste the link. So this side over here, I'll paste the report link because I've pasted the report link over here. And I can also put the page name. I can also set the display and everything. So voila. I can see right, it came out real time. And this is actually very interactive and dynamic because now I can also use the slicers. I can use the buttons. This now you can see that I've embedded Power BI. I've embedded my Power BI report inside of my Microsoft SharePoint, right? So I think this is the whole idea of the old Power Pages, but Power Pages is almost similar to this. But Power Pages is actually far better. So this is the whole idea behind it. So now you can see that I have my reports view time. Like I don't need to stress myself to start doing anything. It is here. Okay. So another thing I want to do, so that's how you embed your Power BI report inside of SharePoint. And it's very dynamic. I can use the slicers, I can do the two tips, I can do so many things I want to do. Okay, so the next one I want to do, I want to embed Power BI report inside of Microsoft Teams. So I have to open my Microsoft Teams. So this is my Microsoft Teams over here. I hope you guys can see my screen. So you see this three dot over here. See this three dot over here. So this three dot over here. This three dot over here. It actually means stands for more, right? So I'll click on these dots. I have to search for Power BI. So I'll search for my Power BI. Because Power BI just is actually new. So what I need to do, I have to like install the Power BI inside of my Microsoft team. I'll click on install. It'll take a little bit of seconds. And it's coming up. It's coming up. Let's see. Okay. So this is my Microsoft Teams. Now you can see that I have my report real time. Now let me check my workspace. Okay, that's my personal. Let me check workspace, right? Onyx. Right. I can see this, right? You can see how cool this is now. I've embedded my Power BI reports inside of my Microsoft Teams. And we all know that Microsoft Teams now most organizations are using Microsoft Teams for that as a main source of communication, like chatting, like meetings and everything. And imagine like you can also embed us like now I'm in marketing team now. Having a meeting and the boss is asking me, oh, what about the report of so and so, or the sales report of this and that? I can just, okay, so I've embedded report inside of what? My Microsoft Teams. And it will just need to just open the Microsoft Teams and we see the report real time. And the same thing, I also have ability to what? Filter. I can use the slicers and everything. It's still dynamic, still dynamic. The slicers are still dynamic. Everything work accordingly. Like it still moves, the numbers changes and everything. Now you can see that now I can also interact with my words, with my Power BI inside of my Microsoft Teams. That's another one. So okay, the next one I want to show you how to embed Power BI inside of Microsoft PowerPoint. That's actually that one just came out like 2 months ago, and it's like it blew everyone by storm because it was actually amazing when Microsoft did it. So I'll go back to my Power BI services. Okay, let me show you something again from my Microsoft. You can see my Microsoft team, right? The whole idea for Microsoft Power BI or Microsoft Team is that I have the entire interface of my Power BI online. I can click on the drop down. I can save the file the way it is on my Power BI services. It's also the same way it is on my Power BI Microsoft Teams. I can save the file. I can download the file. That's the PBIX file. I can manage permission. I can print a page. I can embed reports, websites, and the rest. I can also generate KRL codes. I can export the reports. I can do so many things. And if there's something I'm not really comfortable with, I can still go back to my Power BI services by just clicking on this globe sign. Can you see this globe sign over here? This globe sign over here. I'll just click on this and it takes me back to what? My Power BI services, real time, and it's very, very dynamic, very fast, it's amazing actually. So I want to show you how to embed inside of Microsoft PowerPoint. So for some of you that do presentation a lot, you do a lot of presentation and you're always presenting for the marketing team with your PowerPoint or any slide you use, right? But this one works for the Microsoft PowerPoint because of it's a Microsoft ecosystem. So you can't use Google's slide for this or any other slide or slide decks or the rest. So I go to exports. You can see my Power BI, um, Power BI, this is what I call it, my Power BI. You can see I have embed as live, right? But what I'll do first, I'll open a new PowerPoint. So I'll show how it works. So I'll open a new PowerPoint. New PowerPoints. Let's give it a bit of time. It's going to come up very soon. Okay, so open a new PowerPoint, right? So I need to go to insert because the Power BI for PowerPoint is actually an add-in. So add-ins are more like external tools, right? External softwares and the rest. So I go to insert because I already have mine already because I've already installed it before. What I need to do, if you have not done it before, you just go to get add-ins, right? From get add-ins, you just search for Power BI. Power BI. I see. So you have two Power BI. So before the Microsoft one came out, we were using this one by Power BI Tiles. It was actually very popular, but it was actually paid for. It wasn't free and it wasn't really nice. This wasn't really nice. I used it once. I didn't like it. So until Microsoft now did the old Power BI own. So now we have Power BI for PowerPoint now. So after you've done, just click on add and you wrote install content. But since I already added mine already in the past, I don't need to do it again. So let's cancel. What I used to do now is go to insert. I'll click on my Power BI. It should pop out, right? So it's asking me to paste what? Paste the report URL from the Power BI here. So I'll go back to my Power BI. So it's asking for the URL code. This is the URL code. This one over here. So I'll copy this. I'll go back to my PowerPoint and I'll paste the code inside here. And I click on insert. Right, so it's coming up. And voila. So now imagine you're a marketer, you're a presenter, you're doing a PowerPoint slide, and you don't need to now do screenshots anymore. You don't need to screenshot the report you want to send to your boss. You need to start doing screenshots and putting in your PowerPoint. Now you can now embed your Power BI inside of your PowerPoint, and it becomes more dynamic. And your manager can say, okay, what is the sales of this? And you can just click on the slices, to just filter, to just get more data granularity and the rest. Right? So that's just basically how it works. Now you can now use what? You can use your Power BI inside of your PowerPoint. Another way of doing it also is, let me just insert a blank slide. I'll go back to my Power BI website. I'll go to export. I can also embed as well, embed live data, right? So it has given me, so you can do it two ways. Copy the link, come back here, I'll insert my Power BI, paste the link, and insert. That's all. I see, very, very dynamic. It's come out, that's all. That's how fast this is, right? It's like real time. It makes life very, very easy for everyone. Okay, so the next one is I'm talking about Jupyter Notebook. So Microsoft made a library for embedding inside of Jupyter Notebook. They call it Power BI Client. Yeah, Power BI Client. So for some of you that you like writing machine learning codes and the rest, right? Okay, so for some of you that might be interested in following along with this part, I'll give you the link to the repo. So this is the link. I've actually explained it on my GitHub very well, each step, but now you can go about it. How you can embed. I just gave like a small documentation. I also have a YouTube video now. You can also use it. So I'll just copy it and paste it in the chat box. I'll go to the chat box and I'll paste it over here. So you can also fork the repo. They call it fork, F-O-R-K. So that's the fork means you're copying the repo, right? You can fork the repo and just build something around it. So what I do, I'll open my Power BI. So I'll open my Jupyter notebook. So Jupyter notebook, just you can use any ID you want, but I'll prefer using the Jupyter notebook because it has more. It gives you this notebook feeling, right? So the first time, I need to install my Power BI license, right? I can install it directly from my Jupyter notebook, or I can use a CMD. So if I mean by CMD, I mean like Anaconda. So this is my CMD, right? I can just type install Power BI license, right? Click enter. Because I've installed it before, so it's just going to just tell me it has installed before. And now there's already. Do not test it. I'll just type Python, right? And I can just say from Power BI client import reports, right? So import. So this does check if it's working. You can see that no error came out, right? So that means it's actually working perfectly well. So let me just go back to my. So what I was doing, I will come here. I'll just import it so it works, right? So for you to work with the for you to use the old Power BI embedding to Jupyter notebook, you need two ID. You need the group ID. I also need your report ID. So to get your group ID, I'll go back to my Power BI services, right? So let me open a notepad. Open a notepad, right? So I have a notepad over here. I'll name the first one group. Group. So it's more like group ID. I'll name it group ID. Correct. Group ID, right? Equals to. So the group ID, what I need this. You can see these numbers there. You can see this code here. From here to here is the group ID. Can you see? I'll copy it, paste it inside here. The next one I need what? I need my report ID. So report ID. We can see the report over here. I'll copy this also. I'll copy all of this and I will paste it here. So I have the report and the group ID. So I'll go back to my code again. I'll copy the group ID. Let me just copy both IDs. Let's just see. So confirm if they're actually the same. Just come here. Oh, sorry. I was actually meant to. I've already run it. Oh, so I'm meant to paste this. So let me just interrupt it. Let me just restart canal. Restart. Okay, so I'll run this first, right? Let me compare now. If you look at, you can see that the group ID is also the same thing ID with this one there. I can also see the report ID is also the same thing with this. Then just run this. So next thing is asking me to now, because I need to have to do a cross-platform using Azure authentication. So I've written a code for to get Power BI authentication. I'll just run the code, right? So now what it has given me a code, this code over here. I see this code over here. I'll copy this over here, this one over here. I'll copy this code over here and I'll click on this link. Yeah, right? So I'll copy this, I'll copy the code, I'll click on this link and I'll paste the code inside here. I'll click on next. So I need to log in. So I use my developer account, which is my developer account. I actually have a lot of accounts. So it's saying, okay, continue. Okay, you're signed in. Okay, so let me check. Okay, awesome, awesome. So next thing now, after that is done. But most time, if I did it for the first time, because I've done it so many times. If I did it for the first time, you have to like log in with your Microsoft authentication to send you an authentication code using the Microsoft authentication app. So if you are using Microsoft authentication app, you get a code that tell you to approve or deny. So because I've used this many times, so it's not like it actually recognizes my email, and I'll just run this, and voila. Let's see. Oh, okay. I think the network now is okay. Yeah, it's coming out. I think network was wrong with it at first. Okay. And now you can see, right? You can see how beautiful this is now. You can see how dynamic this is, right? Now what I have now, I have my Power BI instead of what Jupyter notebook. You can use any ID. You can use PyCharm, you can use Spider, you can use VS Code or any other ID. It will come out the same way. You can see. But just that Jupyter is just more friendly in terms of it has this notebook kind of feeling. I can actually use the markdown and everything. So that's what makes Jupyter. That's why I prefer using Jupyter for this purpose. You can see I can also filter. This my what? This my Jupyter notebook. This my Python. You can see, right? I have real time information. Let me see. Okay, no question. I have real-time information. I can filter, I can use the slicers and everything. I can do everything I want to do real time. Okay. So another thing is, okay, so this was actually what Microsoft did. This was what they brought Power BI client for, to embed Power BI report instead of Jupyter Notebook. So there was a day I was working on a project for some white guys like in Canada, right? So I was doing like a documentation for them, and I was very annoyed because of the website was kind of funny. So every time I was doing documentation is using Jupyter Markdown, and I had to be going to the website every time to get information. So I knew that you could use iframe instead of, I know you guys iframe instead of Power BI, right? And I was like, okay, why can't I just use the iframe inside of the website? So what I did was I just got so there's something called Python iframe, right? So for some of you also that might be interested in this actually got me a lot of got me a lot of publicity on Twitter when I did it on Twitter and on LinkedIn. It actually got me a lot. So this one means I can actually embed Power BI report using iframe. iframe stands for inline framework, right, for HTML code, right? So what it means is I'll give you this repo also. I've actually documented it also. So if you're so interested in it, so I'll copy the link. I'll paste it in the chat box also for some of you that might be interested. I want to follow along. Is this here? So you can also the same way you can work it. You can do something amazing with it. So I was working for this client in Canada, right? So I was just documenting. I had to be going in between. I had to go in between um tabs. So I was like, let me just embed the reports. Let me just embed the website inside of my Jupyter notebook. And I like, okay, I said, okay, let's try it. And so let's take for instance, let me look for just a random site. Let's go to google.com. Let's say list of African countries, list of African, list of African countries. Let me use this word odometer link. You can see this website, right? The way it is, right? What I'll do, I'll just copy the link of the website. I'll go back to my Jupyter notebook. Let me just clear all of this first. Right. So I'll paste the link here. So the first thing I need to do what? I need to from IPython, I need to get the display and also import what iframe. So I'll run the code. And so for the dashboard, I've created the iframe, right? So it's actually for the source. The source is SRC. The source is the URL link I got, right? And you have the size, the width, and the height. I'll click on this to run this. That's Shift Enter is the shortcut to run this. And to display that, click on Shift Enter. And it comes out real time. Now you can see the website. You can see the website, right? It's out real time. This website, the same, it's still the same website that is inside here. That's what I've also done. I've also embedded it what inside of my what? Inside of my what? My Jupyter notebook using iframe. I was not like, okay, if this can work using um I don't thought about it. We also embed you so you can also embed Power BI report as a website. I thought, why can't I also put the link of why can't I also put the link of the link of the embedded report inside here? And I tried and it still worked. I was like, wow. I was actually surprised, but it actually worked. So what I'll do now is I'll go to my Power BI website. You can see file over here, right? I'll click on file. I'll go to embed reports. So now remember I told you that there's difference between embedding as a website or portal. So embedding as a website or portal that usually that usually for private use and you require credential. Credential in terms of you need login details to have access to reports. And for publishing to website to the web, it means that it is free. You don't need any credentials to log in. So I'll just click on publish to the web. So let's use the web on. Let me show you something. Okay, I didn't explain something. If you're doing this for the first time, right? And if you're trying to embed for the first time and it is not working, you need to check the admin settings. So what I need, I'll go to the, can see this three dot over here. It's called more settings. I'll click on this three dot. I'll go to settings. You can see admin portals. I'll click on admin portals. From tenant, I'll go to exports. So from this tenant tab, I'll look for exports and I see export and sharing settings. You can see publish to web. I'll click on publish to web. You have to make sure that this is checked. So you have to check the enabled. Because okay, when I first joined my organization, right, I used to embed normally with other accounts I used to have. When I first joined my organization, I noticed that I could not publish. I could not embed. And I had to call my boss now because that I'm under a company, right? So, and the company I'm under, I have an admin. So my boss is actually the admin. So he had the right to like make me publish to be able to embed or not, just for security reasons and everything. So for this one, I'm using a developer account, which means I'm actually the admin of this account. So I can enable. So what it means that when you check on enabled, it asks you, okay, choose how to enable code. You can say, okay, only allow existing code or allow existing code and what new code. I can also set security that okay, I can allow the entire people in my organization to be able to what embed, or I can allow some specific people in my organization to be able to what embed. I can also check some of my embedded code. If I come to embed codes here, you see some of the codes I've embedded, but this one is just like this one is for just when I'm all these ones are like um some Twitter funny tweets. I used to just script data on Twitter and do some project around it. Um so let's go back to the reports again. Click on reports, right? So I have the report over here, right? So I'll click on file, embed code. I'll embed as public. So this will pop out very soon. It's coming out, voila. So it's out, right? I'll copy this link over here now. Click on copy. I've copied the link, right? So I'll go back to my Jupyter notebook. So let me just clear all of this. I'll remove this address and I'll paste it and I'll run again and I'll run and watch this. Came out. And it came out. So that means I can't, because of what it means is that you know that I've embedded as a website. So what it means is that if I come to this, if I click on a new tab, if I paste that same link, it comes out as a website. So I've embedded as web. So if I can embed as web, that means it's a website. That means it can also work in my Jupyter notebook as also a website inside of iframe. So I've also done a documentation for you to understand it better, right? So I explained how it works. I talked about iframe. I said iframe stands for inline frame, right? It's an element that loads another HTML element inside of a web page. So that's how it works. So it's just basically an element that loads another HTML element inside of a web page. and just write the codes and run it. It's very, very easy to run. So I think I've copied it for you guys. I assume I've copied it for. Okay, yeah, I've copied it. So what's the next thing I want to explain? I want to explain. Okay, Notion. Notion is actually very easy. So just for some of you that are into, so I use Notion for my project management. So I use it for my own personal purpose. So I use Notion for, I keep ideas inside of Notion. So when I'm having an idea, I just keep it inside on Notion. So okay, let me just learn the parts. Activity. They just come here. They just click here. Just click. Um, so you can embed a code. If I paste that link, right? You can see there's a page about create an embedded code. Just click on create an embedded code. It's coming, and that's all. That's how simple this is. It's coming very soon. So, and that's all. And you can see the report now is also what inside my words, inside my Notion. Very, very easy to use. So most time I use Notion for ideas. I have so many ideas, but I don't like because so many ideas actually. So most of my ideas I usually save inside of my Notion. So that's all for that. So let me just confirm. Any question? Any question, guys? Laura, is there any question so far?
There's no question as well. I guess we're all like super
Okay. Okay,
impressed
cool.
by what you're doing. So yeah, just go on.
Okay, cool. So let me so the last one I want to talk about, so for organizational website, right? So I'll go to so this one I'll show you how to embed your Power BI inside of the WordPress. So let me just go to the website. So for you to work with this, you need two libraries. You need two libraries. Um, so you need two libraries already pre-installed inside of your. Okay. So for you to work with this, you need two libraries inside that's already pre-installed inside of your WordPress. So you need what they call iframe. I need I need what they call embed. Embed. So for you to have access to this, I think you have to be the admin. You have to be the admin of your organization. Because most times if you're using a WordPress free, you'll be able to embed because of that one you don't have access to embed and getting external plugins. So the two plugins you need is iframe and also embed, right? So those are the two plugins you need. Okay, so what I'll do now is I so this is my company's website, right? So this is our blog site. This is what we do and write articles and everything. I've actually already installed it, but because I'm also not the admin already, so I have an admin. That's why we software developer in house. So she helped me install the necessary libraries I needed for this. So what I'll do, let me just click on one of these report I've done. I'll just try and edit it. Right. Also, as that is going on, let me show you. So for some of you that might be interested in how to use it, so I did a YouTube video around it. So let me just how to embed. So I'll just send it to you guys. So if you're interested in it, so that's embed WordPress, WordPress. Because I might not be able to take all the time. Okay, embed Power BI, embed yeah, in WordPress. Okay, I think that yeah, this is it. So for some of you that might be interested, I'll just copy the link. So I'll copy the link. I will send you the link. So if you're interested in doing it, you can follow along with me. Because actually I explained in details how you can go about that. So what I need now, I need to scroll down, right? So let me just scroll down to the last page. So I'll just delete this. So before this can work, I thought you need to have two things installed. You need to have so this is an article I wrote about a shape map using Power BI. So you need to have two things. You need to have what they call you need to have two plugins installed. Plugin number one, you need the what's the name? You need the iframe. Plugin number two, you need what they call the embed. So if you don't have admin rights, you have to meet maybe your software developer if your organization. So you can give admin rights so you can embed, you can install the two plugins you need. So how will I go about that? Very easy. I'll just so it's an article. They say what's the iframe? Okay. So iframe is just basically This the same iframe I did in Python. That's the same thing I want to do. The same process I will do right here now. So I have the iframe. So the first thing is the source. The second is what the width and the height, right? So the source is that URL link. That's the embedded link I generated the other time. If you can remember this link here, right? So I'll paste the link inside here. Okay, sorry, that's nice. I think I changed it. So let me just copy all of this. All of this. I'll paste the link inside here. That's the embedded link. What I mean by the embedded link is if I come here now, if I click on file, embed, embed to web or public, it should pop out very soon, right? As soon as it pops out, you just copy, right? When you copy it, you just come here and you paste it inside here and you can just copy all of this. Copy. So SRC stands for source, right? And I'll go to that web page. You can see this web page over here, right? And I'll paste it inside here. So I've pasted it inside here. What I need to do is just preview. Let me preview and let's see how it looks like. Okay. It's taking time to preview. Let me preview. So I'll preview in a new tab. Let me see it in a new tab. And let's watch. It's going to take a little bit of time, but it's going to come up very soon. So as that is going, any question? Any question? Okay. Okay, awesome. Awesome. So if I scroll down to the last part, I should see the reports. Yeah, voila. If I see the report, nice. Real time now. I've embedded my report inside of my what? My Microsoft Word. No, sorry, inside of WordPress. Sorry, it's Google. WordPress owned by Google actually. It's written. The backend is PHP. So inside of my WordPress, yeah, not Microsoft WordPress. I've embedded Microsoft Power BI report inside of WordPress. Yeah, that was all I was meant to say, not the other way around. Okay, so you can see now it's also what it's also interactive. It's very interactive. It's also very dynamic. I can use the slicers. I can do so many things. I do so many things with it. I do so many things I want to do with it, right? So it's just it gives you that flexibility that you can do so many things. That's the idea. Like it gives you the ability to do so many things, and it's very, very interactive. Okay, so after that, I'll talk about okay, Novel Pro. Yeah, yeah. So I want to show how to also embed your Power BI. So Novel Pro is actually a environment for Power BI developers, right? So it's actually it stands for it's more for like a portfolio. So if you're a BI developer, you want to have like a portfolio. You want to create a portfolio so that people can see your work. You don't have to now start creating a portfolio site like using Google site or using Google GitHub site. But this is just specifically for Power BI developers, right? So I actually wrote a blog about it that it explains, but I can't start explaining the whole process. So I actually wrote a blog about what Notebook Pro is all about, what they aim to do. But this was supervised by the CEO of the company himself. So he actually approved this. So I explained how it works, how to create a Novel Pro, what it's all about, and how you can do so many things with it. So the idea of Novel Pro is just for is an environment for developers, right? For Power BI developers. Another cool thing about Novel Pro is that they will give you a free Power BI account. So if you're a student and you don't have and for some of you that doesn't know, I know some most you guys are more of Microsoft Lend ambassadors, right? Student ambassadors. I'm sure of you already know what they call developer account. That's E5 subscription, right? But for some of you that don't know what they call developer account, and you want to have like you want to be able to publish your report to Power BI services, you want to be able to embed to share a report to people. Nova Pro gives you that ability. When you open the account for the first time, it gives you Power BI's account. It helps you open the Power BI account, but the account is for only Pro, so it gives you a Pro license account. So you can create a Pro license account to like embed for embedding purpose and the rest, right? So you just explain the whole process. I've just copied the link. So you can also read about it when you're less busy and just understand the whole concept of Novel Pro. So it's a very, very nice article because of even the CEO of the company actually approved it. Was one that actually guided me all through. So that's Novel Pro. Yeah, it's a very, very nice tool for most Power BI developers. It's very, very nice. So let me just show you the whole interface looks like because I can't start creating because it's going to take time. So when you open a Novel Pro, I actually have like two accounts. This is the new one I was opened recently for work purpose. For the one first one I opened was my company's. I had to do another one. Okay, so this is how it looks like, right? So you create your portfolio. Let me just show you the interface. So I go to inspiration. So the idea for Novel Pro is you can embed your Power BI report inside of Novel Pro. right? So if you go to inspiration, you see if you're looking for Power BI design ideas, you can always come to inspiration. You see different ideas. Like okay, you can I want to say you can steal from because it's free, right? So you can just come here, you can just see some ideas, you can just tweak it and improve on it. You can see different designers. You can just search them, and you can also check some of the top designers also. So some of the top designers are also here, which are very, very amazing guys. I actually know most of them in person. Very, very nice people like Federico. Yeah, you can see Federico. I can also see Abishola. This guy is very popular. Um, so very nice, nice, nice. Yeah, some very nice people. Like these are guys that are the top designers, and they also have a community, and they also have a community blog post. You can also post your blog post. So if you want to post your reports, like you want to embed your Power BI report inside of Novel Pro, what you have to do now is come to this plus sign here. Actually, I've explained everything in detail inside of the blog site I just sent to you. So inside this blog, this Medium post, I have actually explained everything in step by step, or that you can go about. I've told you the advantage of using the old Novel Pro. The advantage as for Power BI developers, right? So if you're a Power BI developer, I would advise you to have a Novel Pro account. It helps a lot. It helps a lot. It helps a lot. It helps you get easily found. So if I click on the plus sign, I can easily click on. I can create a new blog post. I can also click on Power BI reports, right? So my Power BI report, you can see how it is. I'll just paste that. Remember that link I copied, that URL link. I'll just let me get it again. Where is that URL link? I think this is it here. Yeah. I'll copy the URL link and I'll paste it here. I see it will pop out very soon. And voila, just give you a preview. Right, but I'm not creating any new thing with this. I'm just showing this how it works, right? So now you can see now I've already embedded what my Power BI report inside of what my Novel Pro, and it's actually the CEO was it's is a very amazing person. He did something that he actually had the cry of so many BI developers, and he built something around it. So I think that's all for that. Um, That's all, but I'm not embedding it. So when you are done, I explained everything in detail. You create the report title, the cover page, the link, the overview, the tags. When you're done, you now click on add to report, but I'm not doing that. So that's just basically how it works, right? Um, so I'm actually done with my presentation, but yeah, I've done the presentation. After that, I'll just talk about. So I'll talk about the last one. I'll talk about the Power BI embed analytics. So this one is actually more advanced. This one you have to have an Azure account. So this one now you can do things like log into different multiple tab websites. So it's not as the old feeling of um you're using a website. But this one is actually more advanced. So I don't really want to go into this because you have to have you have to be using Azure to do this. It's more secured. It's even more secure than embedding to a portal. It's actually more secure. So you can actually go online and read about embed Power BI into Power BI embedded analytics. You can also read about it. So I think that's all. And thank you guys. Thank you guys. So that's all. So any question? So I'm done presenting. So I'll stop sharing my screen right about now. So stop sharing. So any question, guys? I'm done. Laura.
Hello, Jamie.
Yeah,
Oh,
thank you.
so far so good. There are no questions. I guess
Okay.
everyone is so mind blown as to the Power BI has, like what's the type of work it can do. I actually
Yeah.
didn't know that you can embed Power BI with Jupyter Notebook. That was so mind blowing. So yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
guess most people are just amazed by what
Okay.
Power BI can do. And yeah, so I guess if anyone has a question, you can like unmute and ask, or a comment. You can like
Okay. I think
unmute
that's it.
and comment.
That's it for the
Yeah.
recording.
Yeah. There's a recording, though it started a bit late, like 10 minutes in. So we'll still like share the recording with you guys. We'll also be posting it in our YouTube channel, which is the Microsoft Learn Student Ambassador YouTube channel. And also there are so many links that Temi has shared with you guys. So I guess you can check them. And I guess the GitHub link where he has all the documentation as to the Power BI embedding capabilities. I guess that link is gonna like help most of you guys, so you can like check it out. And we're also gonna be sharing these links in our our platform Twitter handle. So be on the lookout. Yeah. I guess if there's no question or no comments, we can
Okay.
say we can call it like a day.
Yeah. Okay, so
Yeah,
bye guys. Okay,
Thank
nice.
you
Oh,
so
thank.
much.
Oh, that's
Okay,
if my.
sorry.
Okay, thanks,
Yeah.
guys.
Thank you so much, Tammy. That was really a mind blowing presentation. It was really nice. I guess most of us have learned like a lot. I didn't even know stuff to do with. Is it Novi or Nipro? I don't.
Novel Pro, yeah, yeah. It's
Yeah,
actually
Novi
nice.
Pro.
It's a nice
Yeah.
platform
So
also.
I hope there's a follow thing where I can like follow guys there. So I'll definitely be following you and checking out your yes your platform. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very
Thank you so
much.
much for the session. Yeah, and we're glad to have you.
Yeah, thanks. Bye. Bye, guys.
Bye bye.
Bye.